particularly a part about Ryan Reynolds, but let's go through. I can sort of summarize and tell you some insight as to what this all means.
Blake Lively was not at the Academy Awards on Sunday, but...
And this case just continues to not be black and white.
There it is. That's the pop apologist.
LLC, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarowitz, It Ends With Us movie, LLC.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have long been seen as Hollywood's perfect power couple, but shocking new revelations about the lawsuit involving Justin Baldoni are threatening to shatter that image. From exposed secrets to questionable legal tactics, things are unraveling fast. And now, it's not just Blake's team facing backlash. Ryan Reynolds is being pulled into the controversy as well. As the drama escalates, many wonder if this could be the biggest mistake of their careers. Will their carefully crafted reputation survive the fallout?
But Blake was going to Sony with her complaints. Initially, though, she says she was going to them with complaints, but it turns out those complaints might have just been based on COVID protocol, which, again, would be very different than the story we were led to believe. While Sony was going after Justin Baldoni, sending him some mean messages, being like, dude, what the hell, man? Like, you know, what are you doing over there? Not realizing that they were part of a sort of plan by Blake Lively to take the film over from them. So it's very dramatic, and it shares Sony actually offering Justin Baldoni advice on how to handle all of her concerns. So you really get to see them being put in the middle, and in the end, they're going to try to please everybody. On one end, they're distributing Baldoni's films, so they got to please him, and on the other, they got to make sure Blake Lively plays ball, promotes a trailer, and does all of that. So
Blake Lively's lawsuit against Justin Baldoni was already messy, but things just took a shocking turn. New reports suggest her legal strategy may have backfired, and now Ryan Reynolds is paying the price. 4 years, Ryan stayed out of the drama, but with his name now dragged into the lawsuit, his once pristine reputation is suddenly on the line.
Particularly a part about Ryan Reynolds, but let's go through. I can sort of summarize and tell you some insight as to what this all means. So the film has now already made $242 million worldwide. It could reach up to $300 million, and that's a huge amount for a summer film like this, especially one like this. It appealed, though, to female audiences, and it's now taken off. Hugely profitable, as the movie only cost $25 million to produce, and it's expected to net at least $25 to $30 million in profits for both Sony and directors Wayfair Studios, which is Justin Baldoni's, the director-actor's production company, which financed it with TSG Entertainment. The deal-making points puts that figure at double. Those margins don't include proceeds for cinema or box office bonuses for Blake and Baldini. At the end of the day, it's a lot of money that everyone's going to now reap from this reward. Now, the sequel is an obvious, like, well, duh, they have a book Colleen Hoover has written. It starts with us in the final cut of the film. Sources say that came as news to Baldoni, who thought the scene had been ad-libbed by Blake. So I guess that's because a lot of people are like, well, how could he have not known that the scene was written? He's the director, and I shared that too. But apparently she had just had her lines rewritten, so she was funny. And if you've seen that rooftop scene, it makes more sense given what she's saying, that he must have buttoned up her dialogue so he could respond better and sort of ad-lib with him, and he didn't realize that that was given to her by Ryan Reynolds, apparently. The other issue is that the WGA is now potentially involved. It could be a guild violation.
The fallout from this scandal isn't just hitting Blake and Ryan. It's now affecting the entire cast of *It Ends With Us* on the Oscars red carpet. One of Blake's co-stars was put on the spot about the lawsuit, and their reaction said it all. Hollywood loves a scandal, but when even your own co-stars seem uneasy, that's a serious red flag.
Actress Blake Lively was not at the Academy Awards on Sunday, but the up-and-coming film editor was definitely a topic of conversation everywhere in Los Angeles the past week. Her husband, Ryan Reynolds, has never been nominated for an Oscar either, but he is a member of the Academy. He, too, skipped the big ceremony. And Justin Baldoni was not there either, obviously. But this fella did hit up the party circuit. Some of you might know Brandon Sklenner from 1923, the TV show, or from It Ends With Us. He has previously come out in support of Blake Lively. Are you Team Blake or Team Justin? Glenner responded saying, "I just want people to remember why we made the movie in the first place and what it stands for, and just keeping the focus on that." I have someone very close to me who's going through what Lily, the character that the plantation princess played, is going through for a long time, and I've been on the front lines helping her navigate that space. So that movie meant a lot to me, and it means a lot to her. It was one of the reasons that me doing that movie gave her the strength to change her life. It's unfortunate that things get taken away from what the ethos of that thing is, and it gets convoluted. So, that was a few weeks ago, on Sunday night at the Vanity Fair Oscar party.
Ryan Reynolds has long been one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, but that could be changing fast. Insiders claim his connection to Blake Lively's lawsuit is causing serious damage to his career, with some even speculating this could be the moment his entire Hollywood run comes crashing down. For years, Ryan seemed untouchable, beloved by fans and industry insiders alike. But now, the tide appears to be turning. And as the internet starts to turn against him, his once flawless reputation may be at risk.
Blake and Ryan get the rights so they can shoot a sequel to the movie. They get full control, no problem. And the New York Times basically teamed up with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds to ruin Justin's reputation. Now, I know actors suing each other for their reputation may seem stupid, and it kind of is, but you gotta understand, the celebrities of this caliber especially, their reputation really is everything. They got products outside of this. If you don't like them, then you don't buy their product outside of this. They lose out on millions. They also lose out on acting roles. Their careers are basically ruined. So they're suing each other for millions. Blake suing Justin, Justin suing Blake and Ryan. So people said, okay, this is a he said, she said thing. We don't know who to believe. But like I told you earlier, this story is deeper than it seems. Justin comes out and says, how about this? How about I prove I'm right? And they're all lying. And here's where things start to get wickeder.
As more evidence emerges, it appears Blake's team is scrambling to control the damage. Reports suggest journalists and media outlets have been pressured to steer clear of certain details, especially those involving claims against Justin Baldoni. This raises a major question. If Blake has nothing to hide, why is her team so worried about what the press might reveal? The secrecy only fuels more speculation.
Black and white, no bias, right? Justin Baldoni mixed to negative. The article spends significant time discussing Baldoni's connection to the Baha'i faith and how his religious and personal behaviors may have contributed to the conflict. Again, how his views, personal behaviors related to his faith has contributed to the conflict. Right? And it goes on and says, the article also details how his faith-driven approach made people uncomfortable compared to Scientology and highlights allegations of unprofessional conduct on set. Again, asking people how they feel, to express moments of joy in meetings. Like that's what they got. That's the spin that they're taking right now. And if you look on Blake Lively's sentiment analysis, it's generally positive, with some nuances. Then she wanted access to the edit bay with the director. She wanted to hire her own editors as well. So she did, so that they could make her version and cut of the film, right? And what'd she do then? Well, she goes and screens it to her friends and family. She goes to Book Bonanza, uninvites Justin Baldoni, invites the rest of the cast to screen a movie that she edited with her own editors that Justin Baldoni didn't even get to watch. His own film, the director of the film, didn't even get to watch his own film. Then what else happened? Well, Ryan Reynolds. He openly mocks Justin Baldoni.
As Blake and Ryan's PR crisis worsens, Justin Baldoni isn't backing down. He's now calling Blake out directly, accusing her of trying to suppress evidence. Could this be the moment the entire narrative shifts against her?
The fact that Taylor Swift does not want to be near Blake Lively right now. And this case just continues to not be black and white.
There it is. That's the pop apologist discussing why Taylor Swift has been quiet on the sidelines. Again, pop apologist looks like we're going to have on our show very soon, working on a date there, but very interested to hear their other opinions on the matter. They cover all things pop culture news. They've crushed it on this case. And yeah, I mean, and I don't blame Blake. You know, she doesn't know. And when you don't know, you don't bet your full hand. When you know, like Kesha, when you know somebody's been completely bent over and you know, in Kesha's case, she, you know, valid complaints, you stand up for people like that. With Blake, she's going, okay, you know what?
For years, Blake and Ryan's playful social media banter made them one of Hollywood's most beloved couples. They were funny, relatable, and adored by fans. But now, people are starting to see things differently. Blake once joked about what was off-limits in their online exchanges, but with the lawsuit heating up, some of those jokes aren't aging well. In hindsight, were they using humor as a shield to distract from deeper issues all along?
This was Ryan's birthday?
Yes.
And
yes.
and you wrote, I picked a good one?
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's like, it's dad jokes, right? I'm just a dad now, I guess.
And then he returned the favor on your birthday. He did a series of photos where you're just either slightly off camera, your eyes are closed, out of focus.
Yeah. It's alarming to me how many of these photos he found, though, where I look like this. And like I have a Barbie in my lap, and I'm like, what is happening here? But he looks handsome in all of them. I really need to like work on my photo face. I don't know.
It's aggravating, isn't it? Because he always looks like perfect like that.
I know. I gotta dig some
You're doing fine. You're doing fine. You're good. Let's talk the new movie, okay? Because as Michael said, you play an assassin. It was so cute when you posted the trailer.
Just how I shattered my hand. We shut down for 6 months. Yeah, my hand basically turned to like feta cheese. It's just like.
How'd you do that? What happened?
I was like lunging towards Jude Law with my fake rubber knife, and my hand collided with his elbow, and I, broke some things and dislocated some things and severed a ligament, and yeah, it was pretty intense.
I know that
but that's why you guys have to see this movie. Out of charity. So I gave my right hand for something.
That's right. Would you all like to see a little snippet?
Yes.
Ryan has always been Hollywood's funny, charming leading man, but this lawsuit is causing his popularity to plummet. The internet is ruthless, and people are starting to see a different side of him. For someone who built his career on public perception, this shift could be a serious, career-ending problem.
As a person, it's more so like what he represents with the current state of Hollywood and like, oh shit. There's another elephant in the room that we have to address before we go any further. Now, I remember seeing the first Deadpool in theaters back in 2016. I haven't seen it in a while, but I liked it at the time. I'm sure a lot of the jokes in it probably still hold up, but I think we need to remember that Deadpool came out in like a different culture, a timeline so different that two of that movie's most prominent stars were TJ Miller and Gina Carano. It's 2024, we're all a little bit more jaded and cynical and tired of like, you know, Hollywood fuckery and whatnot, and I think that has allowed everybody to collectively embrace the mindset of like, let's unpack Ryan Reynolds and his current place in popular culture.
As Blake and Ryan's reputation suffers, Justin Baldoni is walking away with a major victory. New reports suggest his legal team just secured a significant win, proving this lawsuit is far from over. With the case growing messier by the day, it seems Blake's side is quickly losing control.
Studios, LLC, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarowitz, It Ends With Us Movie, LLC, Melissa Nathan, The Agency Group, and Jennifer Abel moved to squash subpoenas issued to cellular providers AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile by Blake Lively. For the reasons that follow, the motion is granted in part and denied in part. Lively served the subpoenas on or around February 12th. The subpoenas requested all documents concerning ingoing and outgoing calls or text messages related to telephone numbers belonging to certain Wayfarer parties and related individuals. Within the time period of December 1st, 2022 to the present, the hair care professional wanted all of this information for an over 2-year period.
Another shocking twist in this drama is Ryan Reynolds' rumored temper. New reports suggest that behind the scenes, he may have been far angrier than fans ever realized. Some even speculate that he played a bigger role in this lawsuit than his admitting. Could this be the real reason so many people are turning against him?
Came from this guy, this trainer who's clearly closer to them and wants them and showing them off, pinning them all over his Instagram to get other celebrities so he can get more people to join his gym or whatever. This is where it all came from? Through hearsay, through that? And then just to focus a second, again, allegedly, if this guy is the one who did it, and you're telling me your client now, Justin, who's become your training, is talking to you about concerns or whatever. Who knows how he asked it, or if he was just brought it up in passing, like, oh man, I got this big lifting scene that I got to do, and I don't know how much she weighs. Like, can I lift that much? There's a million ways you could say that are not offensive to like two dudes talking, where he's not trying to shame her at all. But the way that the trainer then goes and tells Ryan and Blake can be misinterpreted a million different ways, because that's hearsay, whisper down the lane, you know what I mean? How she and Ryan treat these movies and shoots as athletic events. It's part of the job. It's one I knew and part of, it's great, yada, yada, yada. I'm very, very appreciative, not just in my experience now, but also healing from experience past. So thank you, we're gonna kill it. But she says literally, your voice memo meant a lot. It's deeply appreciated. You are everything you promised to be as a collaborator. Thank you. So this is the guy who's fat. She's learned later he fat shamed her everywhere. Are you sure? Or was your trainer maybe wrong, Blake? Like, it is insane. And even he says, look at this. Whatever, please, whatever, you look amazing. You will look amazing. Anything you are insecure about, we will walk through and get creative together and make you comfortable. I just don't want you to stress about your body. It's the last thing you need.
With the lawsuit spiraling and public support fading, Blake and Ryan seem to be running out of options. Their attempt to control the narrative is backfiring, and Hollywood is watching it all unfold. With Justin Baldoni gaining momentum and new accusations surfacing, this legal battle is far from over.
We talk in our moments like this. He said, that's really nice and all, but for this scene, we're just gonna be quiet. She just keeps talking. He gets pulled to the side, and this is all happening in the scene he released. By the producer, the cameraman, they said, look, we're trying to get the shot. She over there yapping. Tell her to stop. He said, I'm trying. Now, after Justin released that moment, everyone started looking at Blake, right? They said, girl, what's going on? Her lawyers jumped in front. They said, y'all wasn't watching the scene for real. Blake was just uncomfortable. That's why she seemed like she was happily talking and all that. She was uncomfortable. Ain't that right, Blake? Blake said, They said, yeah. And sure, there can be an argument for anything, but what I told you was just one thing in a 200-page list of text receipts upon text receipts and videos that Justin released to the public. Now, there's one more thing we gotta mention from Justin's court.
As the lawsuit spirals and public support fades, Blake and Ryan lose control. With Justin Baldoni gaining momentum, this legal battle is far from over.